Hi, this is Simon Chen and welcome to my No BS, No Hype network marketing training. Members of my coaching mastermind groups can ask me questions on a weekly basis. And today's question comes from Howard. And he says, "Hi Simon, recently my team has expanded from the Gen Y to the baby boomers market. In my point of view, I think it may not be the best to merge these two groups of people into the same training session. Would you organize another training session to separate these two groups? What are your opinions for this scenario?" Howard, that's a very good question. I think Amy our mastermind member Amy had a related question to me about this as well. I absolutely would separate the two groups, especially if your young Gen Y group is rowdy, energetic, right? And I've actually seen your video. I know what the message you portray, which is great because that is what young people want. But when you talk about fancy cars and all that stuff, a lot of baby boomers, number one, they may get turned off. Number two, a lot of times not to say they're bad, but they've had so many bad, negative things, they're less believing, right? So, and also, when you talk about Gen Y things, right, the older people don't relate to that. It's just like, young people don't relate to what older people are interested in, right? And the fun things that you do are different. So, I would 100% organize them into two groups if possible, if you have the time and resources to do that. And not just that in terms of age groups, I would actually consider, now it's hard to tell people which training they can go to, right? Because you can't discriminate. But I would do it subtly, and it's pretty easy. Like if someone's older, you tell them to go to this training, is more appropriate for them. For younger, they go to this one, right? The tougher part, trickier part is if it's like a Gen Y person who brought in their father, and the father is in the business. Now, if it's someone you sponsor, it's easy, right? You tell them exactly where they go. But if it's someone that the Gen Y sponsors father, and maybe the father wants to go with the son, then it's a little trickier. So at the end of the day, you give the options available, and the father will decide what's more appropriate for them. You encourage them, hey, go to both of them, find out what's suitable. And I would also explain to them why they are different, because a lot of people may not understand that. But really, marketing, we talked about your USP, your unique selling proposition. Marketing is always talking to a specific audience, right? So this business, you have to explain to them there's many different ways to grow it and build it. Just like basketball, there's many different ways, right? There's Australian Basketball League. The rules are a little bit different from the NBA. The NBA is a little bit different from the college basketball. It's different from European basketball. It's a little different, but it's still the game of basketball. And network marketing is the same way. Many different ways to grow it, and different people, different groups of demographics to it. So I would definitely keep them separately. Now, the speakers also be different, right? If you have someone who's young, energetic, the older group may not respect someone. I mean, if someone's 50 years old, baby boomer, they may not respect a 25-year-old kid sharing about business tips, right? It's natural. People, and then. So a baby boomer may require someone older to share. So it's really a lot of work, but it will help your business a lot. Another thing I wanted, I know Amy had asked this question about dress code. Exactly, some people don't like the dress code. She had experienced that, but doesn't mean they can be bad in the business. If you ask me, I never had a dress code. The dress code works very, very, very well, but I never had a dress code, right? Look at me. I mean, I don't like to dress up, right? But I dress, when I'm out there, I dress professionally. But my meetings, I still dress professionally. But I don't, it's not all that, it's not like you have to wear a suit and tie or a tux to be in a meeting, right? But I still grew a successful business. So there's many different ways to do it. And there are reasons why you have to use a dress code. It gives people the impression it's more serious. But there's a certain group who don't want to do it. But they still can be good. Okay, can be very, very good in the business. Well, it goes back to the culture too, right? Different people have different cultures. Like the dress code will work some certain group. I'm just thinking of my teams in the Philippines. If I did a dress code, it would not work. It would have been a disaster. Okay, but some of them were very poor. They didn't even have money for a suit, but they still did very well. Now, one more thing to add is like not just separating the age groups, but by profession, level education. So you don't want, just say you're a doctor and a lawyer are very interested in the business, right? They're very interested in business. But they go to the business presentation, and right next to them is a janitor. Not to say janitors are bad, right? Janitor. On the left there, it's someone that, delivers newspapers. Another one is works in a grocery store, a clerk. What do you think of that perception of business for that doctor and lawyer? Whatever they're interested, all of a sudden they think it's a low-class business, right? Now, yeah, we're not here to judge people, but natural people think that way. So what happens? So you have to be careful, even not just for prospecting, to build them separate meetings. And because this has happened to one of my leaders who I'm good friends with. We had an event where it's a great event, right? Big event, great speakers, and big Gen Y crowd, huge Gen Y. Reminds me of your teams, Howard. Big group, but he's slightly older, and he had a bunch of business people. When we talk about the SO sponsoring system, we talk about the S, successful types, like Wall Street, broker, banker, stock trader. And they went to the meeting, and the Gen Y was like, yeah, very excited. They totally got turned off in 15 minutes. They thought this was like some type of joke, right? Because they're used to the serious Wall Street boardroom meetings, because they're finance people. Very serious, dress, ties, but they go to a meeting where everyone's yelling, screaming, excited, standing up and down, and they basically left. It's sad that they left like within 30 minutes. This is too much. I can't take it anymore. Sounds like a cult, and they left. Right? And my friend lost good people. Now, after we try to turn them around, it's very hard because it's always the first impression. Right? So that's another thing to consider is the different demographics of people you want to bring in. All right, so let me know how it goes, Howard. Let me know what your thoughts are. Feel free to ask me any other questions. But it's good leadership on your part to recognize this. Because that's the reality of the business. It's all about marketing and targeting to your audience, and different audience need different messages. And there's different ways to reach out to them and to train them, motivate them. All right, everyone, thank you for watching. This is Simon Chan. See you next time.